Spokane today. We've got new safety recommendations before you take a ride.
Well, summertime is upon us, but we are already talking about back to school. This morning, new guidelines are laying out when it's safe for students to return to the classroom.
Plus, here's the view outside. Cloudy skies and breezy conditions, much colder for the start of July. We'll talk about what's in store for the rest of the day and the rest of the week coming up.
Up with KREM begins now.
Well, Alaska Airlines is taking a page out of the soccer refereeing handbook. The airline is set to give out yellow cards to passengers who refuse to wear masks as a coronavirus precaution. Coming up in just a few minutes, Jen York is going to explain more on what that yellow card actually means. Jen, as a sports fan, that would be a funny sight to me to see someone get a yellow card, but I would imagine it's kind of an interesting way to give an alert to other people on a flight, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, you feel for flight attendants who have to lay down the rules when they're just trying to do their job. So hopefully that makes it a little bit easier for them.
Yeah, it's such an interesting story. I'm looking forward to you telling us more about that coming up this morning here on Up with KREM. We do want to take a look at another interesting story because if you look outside, you see it's not looking like July 1st, and yet it is. Evan Narani, what is going on, buddy?
I know. People aren't too happy with it being July 1st and us still seeing temperatures that are more like March 1st. But hey, we are going to get through it. We have some colder temperatures for now, some showers for sure, and then we're going to start to warm up as we head toward the later portion of the week. About Thursday, Friday are the days to keep an eye on where we see that warmth coming in. 24-hour temperature change shows that as we kick off the day, 7 degrees colder in Spokane and in Coeur d'Alene, 9 degrees colder in Sandpoint. That means if you woke up this morning and said, you know, I think I'm going to need a jacket today, you are not alone. You are definitely not the only one. Upper 40s and low 50s mainly out there. Showers throughout Spokane over the last couple hours. We just dropped down to 47 degrees in Spokane. That's only 7 degrees off of our record low temperature for the morning hours. So hey, it is very cold out here for your start of July. 48 in Sandpoint and 58 in Moses Lake. Let's take a look at your satellite radar where we can see where the bulk of activity is taking place, and that's south of I-90 around Spokane. So over the South Hill and then farther down south along the Palouse, 195 for example, moving towards state line. We're seeing plenty of showers. Looks like there's another small area of showers up toward about the Sandpoint area and then through Okanagan County as well. So we're going to continue to pick up on showery weather today, and tomorrow is going to still include a few showers, but mainly up toward the mountaintops. And then we really start to dry out by Friday and Saturday. And of course, that is a holiday weekend. So we'll take a look at that extended forecast in just a few minutes. Let's throw up what we have going on outside. Now, this is the view at the Sprague exit on I-90. Roads are wet, so something to keep in mind as you head out there, but you should be still smooth sailing. It doesn't look like we're seeing any backups or delays, but we will, of course, keep you updated here on Up with KREM with anything that we see that could slow down that morning commute. 6:33, and Jen, I will send things back over to you.
Well, Evan, we got some moisture on the ground now, so that's good ahead of 4th of July, of course. But boy, yeah, off to a rainy start to kick off the new month. But also starting today, Lime scooters are back in Spokane, but it will come with new rules for riders. Lime is requiring anyone who uses a scooter to wear gloves. And the company also plans to increase the frequency of cleaning and disinfecting the scooters. The Lime app will also provide reminders of health and safety practices. Lime bikes are also expected to hit the streets in about 2 weeks. Now, scooters were initially slated to return in spring, but coronavirus delayed their return. It started as a pilot program in 2018, and since then, Lime leaders say riders have logged more than 640,000 miles across Spokane. Myself being probably a quarter of a mile on a scooter because it was very wobbly and I haven't been on one since, but more power to you if you can ride one. All right, well, for the second day in a row, Spokane County saw its highest spike ever in new coronavirus cases. Yesterday, the Spokane Regional Health District reported 81 new coronavirus cases. It beat out Monday's record of 78 new cases. 17 people are currently in the hospital. Last weekend was our last reported death from the virus. Well, starting today, Alaska Airlines is cracking down on passengers who repeatedly refuse to cover their face. We were just talking about this briefly a moment ago. Flight attendants will give passengers a final notice in the form of a yellow card if they keep refusing to wear a mask. And it warns that the passengers' travel could end up being suspended.
6:35 now this morning, and a growing wave of educators are saying that students should be in the classroom this fall, along with new guidance to keep those students safe. The American Academy of Pediatrics, or AAP, has shared guidance for educators to think about as they plan to start classes again amidst COVID-19 concerns. Now, earlier we talked about how this new guidance would apply to pre-K students, and in the elementary school system, the school guidance includes cohorting groups of students, which is a suggestion that is brought up in pre-K as well, and utilizing outdoor spaces when possible. You can see that here, cohort mentioned as well. Face masks are also referenced as well, which was not included in the pre-K level. But an interesting suggestion that I saw is this one, desk placement between 3 and 6 feet apart. That's compared to the 6-foot distance that we've all come to accept at this point. Now, by doing that, classrooms would have a limited number of available space, making it smaller and making these cohort classes much more of a popular option. Now, as we shift from pre-K and elementary school into secondary school, the AAP guidance points out physical distancing has much more of an impact in the high school and junior high areas for a number of reasons, partially because, there's added freedom and interaction with more adults. But also with this guidance in the secondary school, it includes universal face coverings being referenced here, along with some social distancing practices for students and adults. That similar idea of desks being spaced out 3 to 6 feet apart. And there is guidance to avoid activities that include where you exhale more, so like choir or an indoor kind of gym activity or class. But let's look at that cohorting strategy, which is a little bit more complicated at this level. The AAP recommends some ideas like creating a block schedule, kind of like what you'd see in a college class where there's that really 1 month intense learning block period. You could also consider the idea of eliminating lockers that would, or maybe assign them specifically to cohort groups. And what that would mean is that students might not be required to carry huge numbers of books around to and from school. Also, rather than students moving from class to class, which is such a big part of the high school experience, the cohort group could stay in one class and teachers could relocate to those different classes throughout the day. Now, there are a lot more ideas as part of the AAP's latest guidance, and you can find them right now on KREM.com.
All right, thank you so much, Joshua. Well, trending this morning is not your average business pitch. Spokane is trying to edge out that competition for their bid for Space Force headquarters right here in the Inland Northwest. And Spokane is already the nation's 5th largest aerospace cluster, so it sounds like the pitch is already off to a good start. Mayor Nadine Woodward wrote a letter to the Assistant Secretary of the U.S. Air Force to nominate Spokane for consideration as the U.S. Space Command hub, and now we're just waiting for a signature from Governor Jay Inslee to seal his already endorsement. Now, if we won the nomination, the new Space Command is said to enable satellite-based navigation and communications for troops and commanders in the field and providing warning of missile launches abroad. Spokane must meet 3 minimum screening criteria: a population base within the top 150 largest metropolitan area in the U.S., a location within 25 miles of a military base, and then also a livability index score of at least 50 points out of the 100 determined by the American Association of Retired Persons Public Policy Institute. Now, Spokane does have some competition. We're not the only ones bidding in Washington. Inslee has endorsed letters of interest from Kent, Tacoma, Everett, and Vancouver as well. So Joshua, I know we have a little bit of competition, but we will be sure to update you if we hear anything about this coming to Spokane, bringing 1,400 new possible jobs.
It's just another way that we can sort of put Spokane on the map. I know it's such a hotbed of area for this kind of study already, aeronautics, things like that. But yeah, Dana Marie, it could really be something that helps identify the area even more.
No, I think it's a great opportunity. Really, really cool to have that here in Spokane. So I hope it happens.
And those new jobs that could come with it too. We'll keep a close look on this in the days and weeks ahead. Dana Marie, thank you very much this morning. New questions now continue to pop up when it comes to COVID-19 testing and insurance. Our Verify team spoke with 4 insurance providers to get an idea about how tests can affect your healthcare premiums.
From the very beginning of this pandemic, the Verify team has been working for you to try and clear up confusion by sticking to the truth. And we get all our information from the experts. This time we're focusing on healthcare premiums, the amount you pay for your health insurance each month. We're verifying, will getting tested for COVID-19 or testing positive impact your healthcare premiums for 2021? First, our Verify researchers contacted this group, America's Health Insurance Plans, which describes itself as a national trade association representing the health insurance community. A spokesperson told us in part, quote, "It is possible that if future costs for COVID-19 are projected to be extraordinarily high, premiums may increase for everyone, but you won't be charged more based on your individual health condition or decisions." Our Verify researchers then contacted 4 major providers: CareFirst, Kaiser Permanente, Cigna, and United Healthcare. They all confirm, no, neither a test nor a diagnosis of COVID-19 will impact your premiums. So we can verify this is false. With your latest Verify, this is Evan Kozloff.
Yeah, thank you very much, Evan. Still ahead, on up with KREM.
I'm selling apples, Honeycrisp apples, Rainier cherries, and Bing cherries. Well, I was selling Honeycrisp apples. I just ran out, actually, like a couple seconds.
Yeah, the story of a man taking it upon himself to make sure people in our state have access to fresh produce.
Plus, the view on satellite radar shows plenty of showers as we start off our Wednesday morning. We'll be talking about where we're going to be seeing some dry weather into the rest of your week and where those temperatures go as well. Stay with us here on Up with KREM.
And in the expired contract situation with Spokane Police remains up in the air. A lack of independent investigation is at the center of that debate. Join us on the CW22 as we hear from the Police Ombudsman's Office.